That is James Mennie. He is over at the Montreal Gazette. And Jim, let's start by talking election. We're a couple of days away. Now we're kind of in the home stretch, as they say. You're asking the question, is this Montreal's last chance election? Meaning what?
It's a rhetorical question. It is the last chance election. And whoever becomes mayor of Montreal, it's not going to be about ideology or God knows what. It's basically going to be survival. It's going to be how do we if we don't pull this out of the fire, Aaron, we're in big trouble.
Okay, but pull out of the fire meaning what exactly?
Well, okay. Before you go any further, I got to tell you, if you can just tip the board, because I'm hearing my own voice coming back from Mars on our call.
Okay, hold on a sec, guys. Yeah. Can you? Okay, we're having an issue here because we're setting up for the election on Sunday night, so there's stuff going on.
Well, never mind.
No. That's okay. Hold on. I think that's what's going on. It's happened to me earlier in the show. Cameron, Jim is getting some echo in his line. If there's anything we can do to fix that, I don't know why he'd be hearing himself. Okay, let me go on, Jim. Go ahead. So when you say things we've got to fix, meaning what?
I've mentioned this in the past few weeks, and the fact of the matter is there's a lot at stake here. This is not a matter of saying, we'll get rid of bike paths, or, we're going to solve the housing crisis. Yeah. The very essence of Montreal, and you see the people who have come out, and we've got business leaders who turned around and endorsed Soraya Martinez-Ferrara. And when you look at the scope of what's going on here, I know, it looks like she's in the lead. It looks like she's got this, but as I say, you never know. And plus, the number of undecided, who knows what's going to happen? But there's got to be a plan. There's no time for experiments, Aaron. This is not a social engineering chemistry set anymore. We're out of options. And the fact of the matter is, as I speak to you, even on this rainy Halloween afternoon, there are still tens of thousands of people who are in the process of moving off the island of Montreal for no other reason than they don't have confidence in it. So somebody had better, by Monday, I better hear from somebody who's going to be able to restore the confidence, not just of Montrealers, but in fact of Quebec in the city of Montreal, because it has been shattered. And honestly, the idea that, don't worry, everything will go back to normal. It's never going to happen, Aaron. What we need right now is someone who can basically say, I am going to, minimize the damage that's been done over the past few years and try to make this place work on a regular basis. I know my expectations aren't very high, but in this day and age and for this city, I think they're perfectly adequate.
Let me ask you a question, Jim. I don't know if this is just me or maybe someone else has seen this as well. And I kind of asked this. I was thinking this the other day. It seems to me I have never seen so much construction going on right now. When I say that, I mean infrastructure-wise, corners that are being changed, streets that are being narrowed, new bike paths are going up. And I'm thinking to myself, is this projet doing as much as they possibly can in the shortest periods of time, worrying about losing an election? Is that not possible, right?
Well, anything is possible. And quite frankly, remember, this is a party that's driven by ideology, by dogma. The idea was, and we are going to do what we are going to do. And even if it looks as if they're not going to win this election, they're going to make sure that whatever agenda they had is as fulfilled as it can be before someone else takes over. But no, I mean, you're quite right. I mean, it's everywhere. It's uncontrolled. We're having the same conversation, you and I, as we have for the past 8 years. But to be fair, it's the same conversation we've been having for the past closer to 15 years. Unmanaged construction sites, orange cones. This didn't happen overnight. Like, you can't lay this exclusively at the feet of Projet Montréal. But my God, I have never seen a political party that in the space of 7 years has gone from making itself, the big choice for the future, and then discovering that it really is, it's not looked at in very high regard at all. And I think we're going to have a very interesting Sunday, no matter how the vote breaks. It'll be interesting to see how the vote breaks for Projet Montréal, because I don't think we're going to see as big a presence of Projet Montréal Monday morning as we do right now.
I would ask with respect to that, this idea, even if you were, let's say Ensemble Montréal wins the election, right, and their promise is to do an audit of bike paths, even if that means of getting rid of some of them, it's not like they're going to be going around restoring everything to the way it was before Projet Montréal went crazy with this.
Exactly. And, what are they going to do? Are they going to rip up Peel Street? Are they going to rip up St. Catherine Street again? They can't do that. It's done. As I said, the Projet Montréal, whether you like it or not, has left its mark on the city of Montreal. And there's nothing we can do about that. And maybe that's a warning for the next time someone comes down with a very particular ideology, that you ask questions, especially at the polling station, when you go to vote. Have a clue about what you're voting for. Please don't go in saying, I'm voting against this person. We saw that a couple of times, and it didn't work well for the city. So I would hope that whoever winds up running the city of Montreal is going to have a mandate from Montreal, a clear mandate from Montrealers, which is not just to say, oh, no, I'm not the other guy. It's going to be, I'm the person who's working for you. Never mind the other guy. It's just you and me for the next 4 years. So let's try and move ahead together. Will that happen? It remains to be seen, because once again, everything that happens in the city of Montreal or any other municipality is subject to what's happening up in Quebec City, which is a bit of a clown show right now, Aaron.
As they say. Well, let's talk about that. Your headline is the Legault meltdown is inevitable. We've been talking about this now for weeks and weeks and weeks, Jim. I mean, yes, the doctors' strike, or the doctors' situation with the new bill, with Bill 2, is starting to look worse and worse every day. I can't imagine the government would have thought they'd see this kind of fallout this quickly. Do you?
No, and the thing is, I've seen the fallout from physicians, and anybody who figured that Quebecers will side with the CAQ government against the medical profession that keeps most of them alive. I think that was a miscalculation in and of itself. But what gets me in all of this is that I think, in my opinion, there are people who are looking at Francois Legault right now and quietly saying, is he okay? Does he know what's happening? Like the latest development right now, Aaron, the Quebec College of Physicians has formally asked the government to put Bill 2 on hold. Put everything on hold, please. Let's try and work this out, but put it on hold. Right now, it's radio silence from the government. Maybe things will change over the weekend. I don't know. But what has become clear, and what has become clear to every commentator, every observer of provincial politics, is that it seems that Francois Legault, the only reason Francois Legault is clinging on to Bill 2 with both hands is because he can. It is a matter of pride. It is a matter of stubbornness. And I'm getting a very, very uncomfortable vibe that now it's just a matter of Francois Legault's ego. Never mind the fallout, never mind the doctors who are leaving, never mind the patients who are living with even more uncertainty in their lives because of a provincial law that is based on nothing more than a bureaucrat's view of what the medical profession should be. The fact is, the only thing that seems to be driving this government right now is Francois Legault's ego, and that is just downright dangerous.
I said earlier, I'm not sure that they could have foreseen. It's one thing to have these doctors come out. The Collège des Médecins, for people who haven't heard today, came out and said the number of doctors who've either applied or are in the process of applying to practice either in Ontario or wherever else, that number, Jim, is up over 300. It was 100, then 160. Now it's over 300. And then add to that the announcement by the 4 med schools here, the universities, that med students are now going on strike in support of these doctors. I don't know. Could the government have had a clue that would happen?
No, but this government hasn't had a clue about anything. This government has an agenda, and it knows to a certain extent it's an agenda that won't be popular, which is why it usually slaps the notwithstanding clause on its more controversial legislation. But the fact is the government ran straight into a wall, not because of, it misjudged the moment. This is what this government does. This government is clueless. This government figured, you know what? We're going to turn around and tell our base that those overpaid doctors, those lazy slobs who are sucking money out of the government, we're going to bring them to task. And the fact of the matter is they're completely clueless. You know what? Maybe if a lot of these politicians actually received their medical attention in the public sector, they might have had a different view. But as it is, only someone who doesn't spend too much time dealing with the public sector of healthcare in Quebec could have passed so stupid a law.
By the way, it's worth pointing out as well, the medical specialists, right, who filed a court challenge to this, they've been told, I understand, Jim, that it will be heard next week. And if granted, it would be a stay, right? So this would not take effect. Although the government seems to imply that, don't worry, you have 60 days to work it out. I'm not sure if they're granted a stay, what does that change?
Well, what it'll change is, first of all, everything that'll be a court-enforced pause button on the law, because I would presume that they're looking for an injunction to hold it and let their challenge be heard in depth, as they say, on telephone. But the thing is, And you and I have had this conversation about other things about Bill 21, and judges go, well, you know what? There's no real urgency to this.
Right.
There is a total urgency to this. As you say, hundreds of doctors, physicians, desperately needed physicians are leaving for other venues. So I'd be very surprised if a judge turns around and says, you know what, no. I don't see any urgency here. Let's put it on hold. So I think this is going to happen next week. The question will be, what will Francois Legault do next?
Yeah.
And honestly, the way the craziness with what we've been seeing this week in Quebec City, Aaron, it's anybody's guess. And I can only hope that someone this weekend, someone pulls the premier aside and say, listen, just stop it right now. You're not doing yourself, the province, any good, your legacy any good. Because right now, Aaron, this is about for certainly most of Quebec, this is what he's going to be remembered for. This completely unnecessary, ugly feud with the very people who quite literally are keeping Quebecers alive. I mean, once again, I said it earlier this week, congratulations, Mr. Legault. You've done it again.
Jim, before I let you go, did you hear Doug Ford apologize for what he did yet?
No.
1-800-DOUG-FORD for the Quebec doctors?
Did he?
No, he didn't. That's what I'm saying. Did you hear him apologize?
Oh, I think it was one of your trick.
That's right, a trick question.
Oh, okay.
And it's not going to happen. I think we both know that.
You know what? I got to tell you, keep your eye on Doug Ford. Keep your eye on Doug Ford. I know people are saying, no, he doesn't know what he's talking about. That man wants to be the next Prime Minister of Canada. And you know what? From what I've seen so far, he's got an increasingly better shot with each passing day.
James Mennie at the Montreal Gazette. Jim, have a great weekend. Thank you.
You too, buddy.
Unmistakably Canadian.
It's the music that raised you.
The artists raising the bar.
Hi, this is Brian Adams.
Hey, my name's Brett Emmons. I'm from the Glorious Sons.
Hi, I'm Nelly Furtado.
Made in Canada. The station that champions Canadian music.
Loud, proud, and all yours.
No passports required. Just press play.
Tap into Made in Canada now on iHeartRadio.ca
Or the free iHeartRadio app.